Greetings everybody, we are at 14 Fletcher Boulevard. We're going to do a brief walk through on the ground just to demonstrate the property, the hazards associated with the property, and then what the claim damage on the siding is from. Now there was a windstorm, thunderstorm that came through, a severe thunderstorm as rated by the NCDC storm data tracking, and so we had a large number of branches of various sizes that were blown down and landed throughout the property. Some came down, as you can see on the ground here, varying sizes, anywhere from the thickness to my finger to my thumb, to much larger. So this is a heavily wooded area, part of Sicklerville, Turnersville, Winslow Township. See, there are trees throughout the neighborhood. And when the wind gets blowing, even 20 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour, these trees start swaying something fierce. So we had a lot of branches come down. A lot of the limbs were actually policed up by the homeowner. Has an assistant that she hires, and the assistant came and cleared up a lot of the debris and piled it in the backyard. We'll go back there in a minute just to show you the extent of that. But we have a lot of dents to this aluminum siding. We put a magnet on it and confirmed it is aluminum versus steel. So we marked it in yellow, and so you can see the dents like this. And I'm reaching up, that's about 7 feet up, so I'm reaching dents like this. Some of them are pretty small, some of them, as you'll see, are much larger. So these are small to moderate dents, but they are still dents and they do compromise. Typically, I do want to point out, when you have dents that are lower, and you're talking lower like chest and lower, so this is chest high right here. The typical thought is, oh, that's mechanical, right? Because it's at the level where you might have a weed whacker. Here's another couple dents here. A weed whacker, a trash can, somebody just walking by and bumping into it. But in the presence of significant impact damage from elsewhere, you really can't just write off a low level or low height impacts as mechanical damage. Here we have a big one. This is from here to there, so it's about that wide total. We do have several large hits, as you see on the gutter there, from a large branch. There were several hits on the gutters up over here. As you can see, there's one there, one there, one there. And then this gutter here took a big hit to the point where, look at the daylight, it knocked it off completely. We've been trying to tap that in, but it's just so damaged. It's beyond that repair point. We do have some smaller amounts of hits on this side, but there are still hits here and farther up there and along there. If we step back, you can actually see the force of the wind ripped off several pieces of siding, and this becomes more evident as we get to the actual leeward side of the house, where the wind was the fiercest. Again, we have more hits directly on the gutters there and there, and then a hit on the downspout right there. It's important to keep in mind also, when you're talking about the potential for mechanical damage down low, what would be the mechanism, right? So typically your mechanism for mechanical damage down here are your weed whackers, your lawn mowers, but take a look at what we have here. What we have here is moss. Moss does not get mowed. Moss does not get weed whacked. Moss, you just let it be. So there really isn't a lot of mechanism to cause damage here. So the likelihood of there being mechanical damage, especially in this area, is actually pretty low. Now, is it possible that there's mechanical? Sure, it's always possible. But the likelihood leads us more towards that falling debris from the storm that is being claimed. So again, we have more damage to the gutter there that actually landed right on top and bent it down pretty significantly. We have a smaller dent there, and then a large dent over here. We weren't sure whether this was from the tree branches coming down or not, given that it's on the wrong side to be considered damage. But in the presence of the other impacts, we felt it was appropriate to include it. So we'll pause for a moment of the property of the actual house and just take a look at the property itself. You can see a lot more of the debris of the branches down. You can see branches of this size that came down. You can see that's about as thick as 4 fingers. You have this branch here, which is just about the size of my forearm. These are branches that the homeowner and their assistant, her assistant, kind of just tossed off to the side. This is a fresh fall. You can see this again. This one's about the size of my forearm again. They came down. This is all ancillary evidence, but we are seeing pretty significant size branches, and smaller ones too. So on the back porch, we have a lot of a concentration of hits right here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits just right here. Then we have 2 more up there, another one right there. Not a lot up here, and that kind of makes sense because this is kind of a protected corner. We do have a couple smaller ones over here. And then we have a siding slat pulled out from the wind and deformed. We did try to repair that, but to no success. This is metal siding. It does not repair. Once it gets deformed, it stays deformed like a Coke can. Once you squeeze a Coke can, there's no going back. Of course, there's another nice sized dent there. Again, this is our nice view. It's actually a very nice view if you're into the wooded environment. It's a nice, quiet, pleasant day today. You can hear the birds going at it. To the back, the other side of the back elevation, we have dents along the lower portion here. Moving up, we have dents going up there. We do have also dents. I'll zoom in here. In the upper portions of the elevation, we have wind damage on that one. That slat, or that course of siding was actually pulled out completely. We did attempt to put it back in again, and the repair failed. We have dents up there, and then again down here as well. We have another wind damaged side. That's actually 2, the one above it and the one directly below it as well. And you can see the nail is just working its way out again. We put that nail in. We tried to repair it, and no luck. You have a hit on the window capping here from something coming right at it, and you can see that there, and it's a dent. So that needs to be addressed. And again, let me get from the angle here. You can see we have some dents up there, as well as some dents on that window up there. We also have a puncture on the screen. That's important to look for when you're looking at not just, specifically looking for impact, because if you're having impact to metal, you should be seeing somewhere at least some evidence of the screens being affected as well. Not necessarily all of them, right? Because it should be sporadic like we're seeing here. But if you should be seeing 1, maybe 2 screens that have a poke, a hole, a scratch, a scrape, something like that. And we have the gutter here as well. And we actually policed this extension up. It was actually over there, so we placed it up and brought this back over here. The windows, you would expect to find 1 or 2 of these window screens to be affected in some way. On this is actually, we're walking the wrong way around, but this is the left elevation. We have a couple dents on this side. We have a couple large dents, and that's likely from 1 branch coming in here. That's why it's, boom, 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 boom. And then up there again, that's probably from 1 branch. Again, that's why it's 3 in a row. What we do have here as well, there's wind damage, wind damage, wind damage, There's about, I don't know, 7 or 8 wind damage courses all along the top here. And then this whole bottom section has been pulled out from the wind, the entire length of the elevation going up 2 rows. When we were here doing the inspection, we had about 20-mile-an-hour winds. Here's another large impact, denting it pretty severely. We had about 15-20-mile-an-hour winds, and this whole section was actually flapping when the wind was coming through. It was actually kind of concerning. We thought we were going to have to do an emergency repair, but the wind settled down, and so we were able to let it be. Looking up here, we actually didn't identify this on our initial inspection, but we did find it when we went back and looked at our pictures. A pretty significant hit on the gutter, and then there are some smaller dents as well. So we believe that what hit that gutter bounced off and then came down and hit that section of siding as well. Moving along to the rest of the house, this is the leeward side of the house. So as the wind comes toward us this direction, remember your Bernoulli effect says right here is your negative pressure zone, so you're gonna have a sucking effect. But then pretty much over here is gonna be your dead zone. It's gonna be more or less your safe, your safe space. So you're not gonna find a lot of wind damage right there on the siding, but you will find a very strong pull effect here. And that's kind of what you see. You see this right here. There is wind damage right along there, and that's exactly what we'd expect to see. So we do have a little bit of wind damage there, and that's going to need to be addressed as well. Not a whole lot of wind on the siding here, and of course no impact because the other sides took the brunt of that. Let's go take a look at the collection of debris that was policed up, and some of the large pieces and trees that were broken off. You see this tree that is very fresh that broke. That is very wide across, and that log right there, that's what came down, and that is directly attributed to this storm that is being claimed. Now, like I said, the homeowner, the client, has an aide who has a whole family who comes and helps her out. So they came and gathered as many sticks as they could to keep her property clean. She's very insistent on having as clean a property as she can. And so they just started, just chucking the debris and stuff back here. So this is all the stuff that was in the yard before, and they just kind of, tossed it back here so it wasn't an eyesore. So if you're looking for, what hit the house, this is what hit the house. That's significant. Some of the other stuff, obviously that stump didn't hit the house. That's been there for a while. But, you have quite a bit of debris that has been piled up and tossed. We have a lot of significant tree fall. Fortunately, that tree went that way and not that way, because if it did, it's a straight shot. You see the straight shot, it would have crushed the house. And that is probably a 30-40 foot tree. It's as tall as these other trees, so she got really lucky, at least from a total loss standpoint. But as it is, there's still a lot of damage, and we need to address that. So but this, like I said, is just a brief walkthrough. I say brief, looking at my timer, it's 14 minutes now, so I apologize about that, but I want to make sure we showed you everything. And I'm sure that we missed a couple spots on the sun's bright. I'm sure we missed a couple spots, so we will go back through with a fine-tooth comb and make sure we don't miss anything when it comes time to meet with the adjuster. But if you have any questions, please give me a phone call, give me a text, give me an email. Respond very quickly. Otherwise, I'll see you all around the horn.